Appreciate this. We should note Rod Rosenstein is right now at the White House in that picture at a Hanukkah reception. Get reaction now from someone who had a front row seat to much of this drama, Congressman Eric Swalwell, Democratic member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. What does it say to you that there was already an obstruction case open before Robert Mueller was even appointed?
They had good reason to be concerned, and it looks like they were trying to prevent a 5-alarm fire from turning into a 6-alarm fire. The president, at this point, would have just fired the FBI director. We later learned that there were multiple versions of stories given as to why he fired him, and then his own admission to Lester Holt was because of the Russia investigation. And so, thank God they were preparing to act, because we will have later seen the president continue to obstruct, tamper with witnesses, and just outright lie about the investigation. So I think their cause was one that was rooted in real credible concern.
I mean, the irony is, and I guess it's not the first time that we've realized this, that had the president not fired Comey, he might have spared himself the special counsel portion of this whole saga, if not this initial FBI investigation we're learning about.
That's right. And, you know, again, that the president's worst instincts continue, I think, to haunt him, and will ultimately be, you know, what exposes him criminally when Bob Mueller finishes.
How many times do you think the president can hear about the prospect of Rod Rosenstein wearing, you know, a wire, secretly record him before Rosenstein's job is in jeopardy again?
Well, at this point, if Matt Whitaker is the acting attorney general, and we've had conflicting reports about who's overseeing the Russia investigation, but if he's the acting attorney general, he is overseeing the Russia investigation. So I think to President Trump, he's eliminated the threat, so to speak. Now, that concerns me from a rule of law perspective, because a lot of reporting has suggested that the president and Whitaker have plotted for Whitaker to take over this investigation. And Whitaker, as we know, has already prejudged it. And by the way, Anderson, we're still waiting to see where is this ethics opinion that Whitaker apparently asked for, because I don't think there's any ethics lawyer at the Department of Justice who could say that Whitaker is not conflicted based on his prior judgments of the investigation.
There was a lot of talk earlier in the week and some reporting that I think Michael Isikoff was having, based on some sources who were saying that people around Mueller were saying that they were kind of trying to wrap things up. Given what we saw in the filing earlier this week, given that we're expecting more tomorrow on Manafort and Cohen, do you believe that this investigation is wrapping up, or do you think there's a long way to go still?
Well, if you are looking at this as a traditional bottom-up investigation, it certainly looks like it's reaching its end, because, you know, it started with Michael Flynn, and George Papadopoulos is the earliest of people to be indicted, and then Paul Manafort, and now you've seen Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer, who lived in his personal world, his financial world, and his political world. And you have to think that if there are other members of the president's inner family circle who are exposed, that would be what's coming next. But Anderson, I don't think a single person drives the direction of this investigation more than President Trump. He took over 6 months to turn in the questions that were already given to him. He has refused to sit down with the special counsel. If he wants to cooperate, I think he can see this investigation concluded much sooner than anyone else can drive its direction.
And obviously you're not in the Senate, but I do just want to ask you about the front-runner for Attorney General Bill Barr. He's an establishment Republican. He's respected, though he's also expressed sentiments about the Mueller probe and Hillary Clinton consistent with the president's own views, or at least adjacent to them. He's hardly a longtime member, though, of the president's inner circle, which was certainly a key concern of some people about whether or not whoever the president wanted could be get through confirmation.
I have an open mind to Mr. Barr. You know, he served in the H.W. Bush administration. I think we saw this week that was a president who led with dignity and honor and optimism. And so I think that gives Mr. Barr a credential to be considered here. Now, I am concerned about some of his sentiments about the Mueller investigation, and I think that would be something that would come up in a confirmation hearing. I just want to know, will he tell us if any promises were made to Donald Trump about the investigation? Will he allow Bob Mueller to just follow the evidence? And will he allow Congress to see any Mueller report that is submitted?
Congressman Swalwell, appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Anderson.
I want to talk now to our legal analyst and former Nixon